Right then, today I'm going to be going over how to rig outfits into Fallout 4 using 3ds Max and the Creation Kit and Nifsco. So first of all, to start off, you're going to need a few things. You're going to need Nifsco, obviously 3ds Max. I would actually recommend 3ds Max 2018, although I'm meant to use the 2013 version to use the official exporter. I would use the unofficial exporter because it's what I'm going to be using in this tutorial. So, you know, I'm gonna get into this. Oh, one other thing you're going to need is Photoshop and the Intel TextureWorks plugin. Yeah, I'm meant to use Elridge to convert your textures, but I find for when you're testing out stuff, just getting it straight into game instead of messing around with that, just export it straight out of Photoshop because it just works better that way. So as you can see here, I've got my 3D model I created. I was going to put a bit at the beginning showing how I created it. I might put a few little snippets of recordings in right here whilst I'm explaining this, but basically I use softwares like Substance Painter and ZBrush and Topo Gun, you know, all them, and obviously 3ds Max, UV and Wrap. So I have my mesh here. This is for the Capital Wasteland project for Fallout 4. And this is the... Oh my god, how have I forgotten the name of the outfit? Yeah, it's one of the Wastelander outfits anyway. I just wanted to make this for this tutorial because it's a simpler outfit and it just sort of helps. That is something which is a bit nicer to deal with first thing. So I'll get right into it. So the first things first, you're going to want to have probably all the outfits out of the... Oh god, I don't want that anymore. You don't want all the outfits exported out of Fallout 4 using BAE, which is Bethesda Archive Exporter. You get off next, I'll probably provide a link in the description. You just want to go into your message. Actually, I'll show you how to do that now. So you locate your Fallout 4 folder, data, and you should have a meshes. It'll be Fallout 4 and mesh. There we go. There's only really one folder, so you can't really go too wrong here. Then you're gonna want to get bail. Obviously, you download it off and you just run a .exe as it is, and you'll just get this. Then you just drag and drop your meshes for .bat2 into the program. So I recommend just unticking that. Go here, let you drop down, go into meshes and then clothes. And I'll just recommend just ticking this and going to extracts and look at your Fallout 4 data folder, which will be in Fallout 4 and then data, and then you click select folder and then it'll extract them, but I'm not going to do that because I've already got them all extracted and I have some stuff which I've edited, so it'll overwrite it. So what you want to do now is just find a outfit that you want to replace, basically. Obviously it'll only be replaced temporarily because it won't actually mess up your game, it'll replace it when it's in this loose form. But once you're done with it, you can just delete it or you can just re-export them out of Bethesda Archive Extractor. And yeah, so you kind of need to find one which is suitable for whatever outfit you're making. It doesn't have to look exactly the same, it can be anything. I've done this one. Let's see, on Nifsco. No, that won't work. I need something that sort of hasn't got the sleeves. I'll say I am actually adding a bit there, but I'm not going to do that in this tutorial. I'll just do that after. It's pointless messing because I'll just reusing some assets which I've already made. Short sleeves. Let's have a look. This one could be it. Yeah. Yeah, I could use this. I could use this as a base. I'll probably just cut out some of these sections till I find some that I actually want to use. Wasteland Common. Perfect. Yeah, Yeah, it's pretty much spot on that. Yeah. Yeah, no, this will be fine for this one, I think. Obviously, as I say, it's not exactly the same, but you know, as a base for rigging, I reckon that'll go quite nicely. So I'll just keep note of where that is. Now then, this is where the little bit unstable part comes in, because sometimes importing NIFs into 3ds Max 2018, I don't know if this happens to everybody, but to me it does. It sometimes crashes with the BS subindex skin modifier or something like that. It just doesn't play well with it, so hopefully this might work first out. I'll just save this actually, just in case. So go to import. I will find the location of where my thing was. Let's have a look. It was Wasteland Common and Outfit M. Yeah, the basic like default import settings should be fine as long as it's detected that it's Fallout 4. So let's import that, and here we go. We've got the mesh in game. Obviously, I'm not going to show you how to set up the plugin because that is straightforward. Right. So this is where stuff starts getting tricky. I actually tend to do this because I'm really stupid, and apparently it somehow works. And then I click this. Now I may actually get the crash here. Yeah. Oh no! It actually worked first time. Hey. Yeah. Sometimes cycling between them does it, but this is the actual issue. Sometimes it actually crashes, and if it does it, just don't give up. Just keep doing it. It'll get there eventually. So first things first. If your mesh isn't already scaled up to fit the body, just scale it up and do all that. This is basic 3ds Max stuff. I might just speed this part up in editing. Yeah, it's sometimes a bit tricky to get this looking right. Actually, I think that's too far forward. I'm quite happy with where that's positioned. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. I can move on to the next step. So, what you're going to want to do is click on this, your base, your mesh which you have created, and then get a skin wrap modifier. And find skin wrap. There we go. So skin wrap. Add your meshes to it. I sometimes recommend adding both. So you'll see these appear here. Blend to base mesh. Wait, point as I sometimes do blend distance like 1 or something like that. I don't know. It probably makes no difference. I say I ain't no professional. And then convert to skin. Then this will give you a skin modifier. So this is actually your mesh is now weight painted. So if I go into edit envelopes, you can see it's got weight paints where each like vertex is going to be affected by the bone movement. So like the chest area, but Fallout 4 works in a different way from other games because it actually it has bones which are for the scaling of the body, like the weight triangle that's in the game. Everything's looking good to me. There'll probably be some weight issues in the game. I usually get it rigged first and then fix them up after. Now, yeah, that's looking good to me. You can just delete your skin wrap modifier, just right click and delete. Now, you just need to copy subindex modifier. Yeah, so you just literally do copy and paste. That's how you get your modifier on. Now this is the tricky part. Obviously you can just do it through the thing, but I often find that dismemberment doesn't work, and I think that's a very important thing to get working. Now then, we've got to start with this, and this is where stuff starts getting a little bit tricky and a little bit complex. Now, if I just hide this, as you can see, this mesh is fairly on high poly side, but it's not majorly high poly. The reason being is Fallout 4, with the dismemberment system, it actually has a sort of polygon limit of how many I think faces, or yeah, I think it's faces can be on each sort of chunk. especially on the limbs. The torso doesn't actually matter too much, to be honest, but this is also very important for that. So say, this actually pops up. This is why I use 3ds Max 2018, because if something happens, you sometimes get this and you do continue showing a session, and you just keep spamming that, just keep spamming it, and then it'll just go away. There we go. And now you're back in your thing. Whereas like 3ds Max 2017 would just outright crash, or any older versions of it. So yeah, as I was saying, there is actually a limit to how many you have. Actually, this is about going around the leg. This is actually very like sort of almost pushing the limit what you can do with the dismemberment. It's about 20 faces all around. I probably didn't need to go that mad. I just got a little bit carried away. It's roughly about the same on this. Actually, I think that's about 16 on this side, on the arms. Yeah, I should be able to get away with this, but don't go mad on polygons because your dismemberment won't work, and nor will your VATs, which are very important gameplay features, so it's always best to try and keep them intact as best as possible. So here I've got my mesh. Now I have just got to assign the chunks, but the chunks are actually already assigned on the outfit. I'll just show you them now, actually. If I go to NIF scope again, as you see here, we got our outfit here. Go here and click on segments, and here we go. You can see the segments of how the dismemberment works. So it's very it's quite important to get this right. You sort of need to follow in the same sort of way. You'll have like a .sf file, and if you've got one, I'd recommend renaming the actual mesh later on, not just yet, to outfit M0, but I'll go on about that later. But you got your segments, and these basically where you have to assign, but they're all assigned correctly on the mesh. But if you look on our new mesh, if I just go to 002, where there's some assigned, they just get randomly assigned to the mesh, and this is not going to work. Just outright isn't going to work. So, you know, this needs to be fixed. But before I do anything, I want to apply the Ssf file, which I will just literally copy and paste from here, because sometimes you don't need it, but sometimes you do if you've got multiple chunks to your outfit, especially if it's to do with the limbs. But say if you're adding something to the torso, it doesn't matter, because this doesn't actually need any data. Say I'm going to actually add a t-shirt bit here, but I don't need to do anything extra because it doesn't require any data. Just copy and paste this just straight up out of here, and click on here, copy and paste that. I'll just press enter. That's just probably me being weird, but you know. Yeah, so now I've just got to assign my chunks. So partition 2, well, ID 2, if you look here, is this is this half. So here it's this arm, but obviously this needs to be assigned into chunks. So if we look at our original thing, you see it's actually quite a thin chunk, probably not even, some of it's like one to two faces on this. So what I'm going to do is on mine, I'm probably just going to select these here. So if I go ahead and do that, because I'm actually on sub-index partition 0. So if I just assign these, I wouldn't even recommend like skipping out on this part of the tutorial, because this is very important for it. Because actually, if you don't have the sub-index modifier, your mesh won't even show up in game, it'll just be invisible. You could technically actually assign them all to the body, but you're not going to get that or dismemberment, which I think is very important. And then partition 1, just click on and then it'll disappear. And then I think I'll just do it, I'll go up to here. Let's have a look, I'll look at the original. Let's have a look, segments. Yeah, probably about up to there would be a sensible guess. So if I do this, remember to always like hold control. It's basically all the faces need to be selected, which you want to be used for that index. So actually, I think I could probably do with taking this one. So, yeah, that's looking good to me actually. It's sort of a gut instinct sort of thing you got to do with this. There's no really right or wrong way to do stuff. Right, so if we go to number 2, oh yeah, this will just keep popping up, excuse this. This is exactly why I use 2018. It might just be my setup, so someone else might not, like, have this. Just make sure not overlapping. I tend to have a look at number 1 again. Yeah, then I'll just go like that. And then I know that that sort of loop of faces is what I'm going to be assigning. So, yeah, I'll just double check that. Yeah, there we go. So that's that. So that's actually that arm done. So 3, just leave this till last. Go straight on to 4 because it's actually for the torso. 4 is this arm here. So I'm just literally gonna do the exact same as what I did before. Now we have the legs. Number 5 is actually this leg. So well, if you're facing it forward, it'll be the left leg, but it's actually the right leg. But you know, a look actually how the partition is on here. You can see it's actually quite a thin strip, so I'll just do it that way. The way I always look at it is that's like the part where at the bottom of this is where the actual gore will appear. This is where these will get culled out if say you shoot up there, but if you shoot the knee area and that part gets thing, the gore is actually put at the end of where the segment ends. So you just think of it that way. You sort of have to get it right, otherwise it doesn't look right. Just say if you're unequipping outfits and that, it just doesn't always. Where so I'll always follow the mesh which you're basing it off to try and get it as close as possible. Right, so I'll just select these. There we are. Lovely jubbly. And that's that leg done. And then it is basically rinse and repeat on the next leg. This is the last limb, even, which you need to do. I would just literally do it exactly the same as what you did before. Obviously, just on the opposite. This is just the opposite way around. Just try and get it looking the same. It's just neater and it'll stop any complications down the line. I don't think it will cause that many, but just to be on the safe side, I'll just have it neat. Right, then we just gotta go to D3 again, and then this should really have nothing selected. Then you click select unused. Aha! You see, now this is when you sometimes get issues, is if something like that's left and that hasn't been used somewhere. So if I go back through my, this is the 6th one, as you can see I forgot to assign it there. So if I just assign that now, go back to 3, click off, select unused, and that's it. That's how it should look. So I just usually click fix duplicate, and then that will just fix any issues that are here. Just lock that just to be on the safe side, and you're good to go. Oh, one thing is reset your scale. It won't actually move it on export, I don't think. Sometimes it will, the scale will mess it up, but the actual pivot needs to be set to 0 on all the axes. So if you just click effect pivot only, W, and then just do 0, 0, center, and then there you go. That's that sorted now. Let's double check and reset that. And now you should be ready for export. So I will do it now. Let's have a look at export. Now what I actually like to do is, actually no, for the sake of this, I think I'm just going to export back up, actually right over it. Because it is... Oh, get lost. Get lost! There we go. Right. I'll export right over the actual outfit, although what I will do is, because sometimes you need to do this, is actually just create a copy of the original mesh. Don't matter about the state of this, you can just delete anything else left in here after, it doesn't matter at all. Go to netmesh/gamebreo and then kf and then nif. So got your outfit M. I'll just literally straight up copy that. Obviously the same applies for female characters. I'm just using the male character as a example. So outfit M, and then you can export. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll just replace it. Where it says weld vertices, sometimes if your UVs are actually too close to each other, where the UV splits down the middle, where it would actually, where actually the seam would connect, if they're too close to each other, actually in the UV layer, they will actually weld. So if you've actually done that and you end up with issues where the actual seams seem to look like they're quite close to each other, you're gonna want to just set this to 0. I just do this anyway, just to be on the safe side. And then just export. All the default settings are basically okay. Now I just get a lot of troubles exporting, so I can walk you through all these now. Alright, so if we open up our NIF, as we can see, it has been exported, but it looks weird. So what actually happens to me is all the face normals and smoothing groups get messed up on export. So even for like the limbs and that. So if I go to, basically what's to do is go to mesh face normals, and then you have a thing. Actually, it looks as if the smoothing groups haven't really actually been touched. So they are actually probably okay. Obviously you can just do this if they are. Just go to mesh and then smooth face normals. Angle 60, that should be fine. And then that should just smooth out your normal. Say if you have like, say if all the faces are like messed up and you can actually see like the polygon layout, like say if like these squares here were all like, they weren't smooth, you just do that. But obviously if you're doing something that's like a hard edge model where you've manually done the normals and smoothing groups, I wouldn't recommend that. But for outfits it doesn't really matter. Oh, and also update tangent spacing, you'll notice it sort of like the shine now. And that should be ready, but not quite. I will actually load up the game and show you why what might actually happen. It could just be fine straight up first time, but I won't bank on it, if you know what I mean. Alright, so I'll just boot up the game and I will show you what I mean. So now I'm in game, I will show you what I mean. So I'll save this because I'm actually using CW, so I don't want to be showing off anything which maybe I'm not meant to. So if I go to all weapons and armor from Fallout 4, probably it's better off doing it this way. It'll just be, aha, here it is, green shirt and combat boots. Here we go. Right then, so this is just the underwear model, so don't have to worry too much about that. Apparel. So you can see, you will basically get this, where the mesh just isn't working. I mean, you might not get this, but you might. I get this every time I export, so I have to add in an extra step to fixing this. So actually, I think I'll just save over that old save. I already have it in my thing. Right, so exit out. What you're going to want to do is you're actually going to want Outfit Studio. Now, people who actually know what they're doing will be like, well, why are you using that? I thought you said you can't do half of this stuff. It doesn't matter if you've already done it in 3ds Max, you can just literally, like, I actually do this a lot to fix things. If I go back to my data and tools, body slide and Outfit Studio times 64, I can now load up my mesh I've just made. So load from NIF, let's have a look. Meshes, clothes, Wasteland Common, Outfit M. It'll go up here, but sometimes when you export from 3ds Max, it will it sometimes messes things up a bit. So it'll actually appear above the thing, so that isn't actually broken, that's just what happens. So now it's in here. I was actually going to rename this to M Outfit colon 0. You actually want to name that to the original thing that you copied, the Ssf file, the Ssf file path from, because it that's what has the dismemberment data, but it has to say that in order for it to work. Right then. So what you are going to do after you've exported that is I actually tested it out in game and it didn't work, so I'm going to have to try and troubleshoot this now. So I'm going to assume that something's happened, obviously. I think it might be something related to this. Could be, might not be. So I'm actually going to do all the material stuff and all that before I actually go back in. It could be to do the lighting properties, I reckon. So I'll just remove... I'd actually just recommend getting rid of this part, unless... Obviously, it'd be like, oh, well, like, fits perfectly, I need it. Actually, you do sort of normals than that, and sometimes the weights get a little bit messed up on export, so go to your original and just copy and paste the branch. Then it's just going to be exactly the same, but obviously it'll just have no issues then. Let's have a look. Lock and paste branch. And there we go. Now that's in. So that's fine. You don't need to touch that anymore now. Now this right here is what you're gonna have to mess around with. So I would actually say get rid of the shading property. Just remove branch. Just straight up get rid of that, and it'll go into this like sort of white matted just plain shader. Then go back here, go here, do a little drop down arrow and copy your BS lighting shader properties from this one. Then right click and then block and then paste branch. If you're like, wait a minute, but the textures don't fit, just chill there, okay? You need to actually add your own material path now, so that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to have to open up Photoshop, which I will do in a second. For this next part you're going to need your diffuse layer. This is your diffuse, your normal map, and your specular map. Diffuse. So first of all, I'm going to show you to do. Once obviously you got it, you just literally straight up just save it. So you're going to want to find a file location for it. Now you go to your data folder. I wouldn't recommend overwriting these, to be honest. I'll just straight up just change these, go into your actual new file location for them, and then just create yourself a like folder. I'm going to name this Wasteland 1 TFT 1. There we go. There we are. So you're gonna want to save this as a .dds Intel texture works, and then I'm just gonna name it Wasteland _D. And that's it. You don't need to do nothing fancy. You want to save this so you'll have like color. You'll let you drop down here. You want to save it as color. Unless you have got alpha transparency, you do it as color plus alpha. But if you haven't got any alpha transparency, don't bother. Just do it color. No point having that extra stuff in there. And I usually save it as BC7 fine. That's there's less compression artifacts than say your BC1, which is DTX1 basically, and if you do BC1 and color and alpha is your DTX5. Those are like your old normal. There's like your old .dds formats. Obviously, there's other ways of doing this through Elrich, which I won't go into. But there's a few tutorials on YouTube which can show you how to do that. Elric, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so you got all that set up. Yeah, that's fine. You click again and save it. It's basic. It's almost as basic as saving a PNG. Same for this. You're gonna want to go file save as, and then clothes. Go back to your folder which you had it .dds, and name it like Wasteland _n. But obviously you just name it whatever you want. Save. Now for a normal map, you want to go onto the normal map section. This will save it as a BC5 texture. And basically what this will do is, I think it actually makes the blue channel black. So you end up with a sort of yellowy looking normal map, because Fallout 4 doesn't actually use that, and a lot of modern games actually sort of go to this. It's also known as ATI2 like format. It's basically, it's almost like not having a normal map, but it's not as big as a file size, but it doesn't have the compression aspects of DTX 1 or 5. It's probably like DXT, I bet, yeah. Yeah, DXT, goddammit. Yeah, so just save it as a normal map. Right, and next is your specular map, which is obviously once you get all set up, I'm not going to show you how to make these because I'm just going to assume that you already have your assets working and ready. So save as, I'll just do this Wasteland _s.dds, right. And then just go back to colour, you can really save it as DTX1, but I just do it as a BC7, gets rid of the artifacts. So yeah, just save it as that, and that should be okay and good to go. And if you actually click on preview, it'll show you what it'll look like after and how big it is. 5 meg ain't too bad, to be honest. Especially because these are 2K maps. Materials, you're going to want to go to clothes. Wasteland comment. I recommend extracting these from the materials like file. There'll be .bgsm files like these. And basically you can edit this. I've already got my own set up somewhere, so I'll just go straight to that, but just copy and paste it and then I'll show you what to do. That's actually what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go here, go away. So I'm at my location for my mod, so I'm literally just gonna, I'll probably copy it from the Make Adventurer. I'll just take the mail version, Control C, and then create a new folder, and then you can name this folder, whatever, so I'm just going to do Wasteland TFT1, then I'll just paste in my thing. I'm going to rename this, let's call it Wastelander. Yeah, right, so let's open this up. Oh, you're going to need the material editor as well, which I'll provide a link to in the description. So once you're actually in here, you're going to want to go to material, and then you'll have these maps here. It'll be somewhat different for you, but you just select the dot, go to, let's have a look. Yeah, go to where your textures were located, and then this is on the diffuse texture. You just select your _D, click again, _N, and _S, and you're pretty much good to go now. So now I've saved that. I tend to just do this. Just click, do a backslash, I think it is, and then just press down on the keyboard. And then copy it up to materials, where materials ends, and copy it. Go back to your NIF, find it. Oh, no, not that one. Not that one. This one. Click it. Go down to here. Your BS lighting shader properties. Right click on here. Edit string index. And then just simply paste it in there. Okay, and then there we go. You've now got your material assigned to your object. So if I just save this, it should just work in game now. It will probably break, I bet you. No, it might look anyway. Obviously this mesh isn't actually complete because I haven't added the full thing in. Oh, and here we go. This is the mesh. Obviously it's missing the t-shirt part, but I'm going to add that in later. But yeah, that's basically the basics of how to get your mesh in game. Everything seems to work fine. Toggle god birds, I'm not using up all my ammo. Let's ignore this trippy sky. So everything's looking good to me. Specular map's working, normal maps are working. So yeah, that's basically that done. Now what I tend to do is I just do help raider for player.place at me ff0015db1. It's a mail raider, so just leave him there. Now do help, whichever one you replace, so green 4, yeah, just do that. And as you can see, armor. Okay, green shirt and combat boots here. So I do equip item. Oh, and you click on the raider, and you do equip item. 0094 2 D61. And now he should be wearing the outfit. Right, so now he's wearing that again. Go back into that. Shoot his leg. There we go! Dismemberment in the most dramatic way possible. So, as you can see now, the limbs can now be dismembered off the character. And I always find that this is very, very important when making outfits because, I say it's a gameplay feature, and I always find that stuff needs to fit in as vanilla as possible. Obviously, I never used to do this before, it took me a while to figure this out. There we go, his arm will fall off. Let's see if I can get it higher up. There we go. I actually think that that's something to do with the actual mesh I sort of took this as a base off. Why it isn't dismembering there, but as you see, there we go, that's where like sort of the boot ended, and it's dismembered off there. So if I spawn another one, just to test out. Yeah, just chill your beans. Alright. Shoot his limbs, and there we go. He's dead. And there we go, look. Works like a treat. Oh man, that is so satisfying. I might possibly be a psycho. There we go, dismemberment working 100%, and there's also physics particles on him as well. Oh man. So yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with the results of that. So yeah, that's basically all there is to it. I may create a second part to this showing how to do stuff in the creation kit and how to implement these outfits if that is something which is wanted. But yeah, that is the basics of actually creating the mesh well, creating the mesh to go into the game, like the NIFs. I'll say it's a little bit hit or miss, I guess, if whether it's going to work or not. But you know, I've got a got something here, I guess. It works. Everyone's happy, you know. So yeah. So if there's any questions or out, nothing, if something isn't working or anything, just drop me a comment. I'll try and help out the best I can. But I'm no expert in this, so don't expect miracles. But thanks for watching, and yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day. So I don't know how to do these outros. I think I'll just abruptly cut off the video.